Hi, it's Louise at Spiral Bright Insight. I just wanted to talk about the energy of this coming week. Just bearing in mind that we are still in the very sort of betwixt time between the two eclipses. So you could describe it as the eclipse corridor or the eclipse portal, but what it effectively means is that we are in this really potent, supercharged time where, the energy is accelerating. We are experiencing some quite deep and dramatic shifts, both internally and externally. And, it is the really sort of perfect energetic climate to be open to and to be able to receive information, insights, and in particular answers to questions that you might have had. So the first message is really sort of over the next few days. We've got a week and 2 days before the solar eclipse in Libra on the 2nd of October, to really pay attention. And if something is coming into your world or into your awareness that is perhaps, quite unexpected, you didn't see it coming, but now it's here, it is really lighting you up and really talking to you, then, again, pay attention, because it's not there by chance. This is a really sort of, as I said, supercharged time, and we are experiencing some really big shifts and leaps, and even like quantum jumps are possible in this sort of corridor of energy. So I've just been looking at what is kind of happening over this next week, and the big thing that is standing out is Mercury. Now, Mercury, obviously, if you are into astrology, Mercury is the messenger. It represents our mind, our mindsets, the way we receive and process and sort of understand, make sense of information. It represents our ability to communicate and our communication style, the stories we receive, the stories we tell, the way we speak, our words. So really insight, understanding and consciousness is covered when Mercury is active in the chart. Now, Mercury is in direct motion. It's moving very quickly through the final degrees now of Virgo at the beginning of this week, which means that Mercury is going to basically meet or align with all three of the outer planets before he moves into Libra. So again, this is a big deal. Obviously, the outer planets are all aligned very harmoniously at the moment. We've talked about the Grand Minor Trine that is sort of between Uranus, Pluto and Neptune. But as Mercury comes into contact with each of these planets, it's going to sort of activate this planet of communication, Mercury the messenger, in slightly different ways. But it's going to happen really quickly just because of the layout and the speed of Mercury that Mercury's going. So, Mercury in Virgo wants to understand, wants to process, is very much about structuring the information, structuring the mind, and being discerning, wanting to create order, and sort of really focused in on the detail. So Mercury is very comfortable in Virgo because it is one of its ruling signs. And as we sort of get to 27 degrees of Virgo, Mercury will trine Uranus. So this is the first meeting this week. And this is very much about sort of information or understanding that is going to perhaps come out of left field, very unexpected, have quite a destabilizing impact and effect, but it is really designed to almost shock us or to wake us up. But it's sudden, it's erratic, and it is unpredictable, but very much sort of about taking us up into the higher mind and higher awareness through the energy of Uranus. And again, this is harmonious, so there is great flow coming through. So the energy is sort of happening thick and fast, which means the information is coming thick and fast. And of course, as Mercury meets in this trine with Algol, it is also with Uranus, it is also in a trine with Algol, which You know, it's one star that I've talked about quite a lot on my channel. You know, this is the star that links to Medusa. It takes us into themes of light and dark, of facing our fears of head on, sort of turning to the shadow side in order to find the light. And there's real themes of goddess and monster energy as well with this star, but ultimately about shedding and letting go of understanding and mindsets, beliefs and patterns, and also experiencing deep transformation and empowerment through that process. So Mercury then moves on to oppose Neptune in Pisces at 28 degrees. And again, you know, this is going to create perhaps some sort of slight confusion or fogginess. You know, Neptune in Pisces can be quite nebulous and quite, you know, there's a lot of illusion. It's going to be hard to know what is real or what is not. And Mercury wants to get to the bottom of what is real, but Neptune is just saying, no, come higher, come into that higher space, almost let go, you know, step into the void. You don't need to know the detail now. You know, this is about having faith at this time, and also just surrendering to sort of this higher power, this higher, you know, God energy, source energy, whatever it is that you want to call it. But it is very much about taking us out of kind of our day-to-day reality and our day-to-day understanding, and really encouraging us to consider that there is so much more, you know, going on in our world, sort of beyond what we've been led to believe or what we've sort of been taught, if you like. So so we have that opposition, and then the following day Mercury then comes into trine with Pluto at 29 degrees of Capricorn. So this is the anaretic degree point for both planets. You know, there is some sort of crisis perhaps. Pluto wants us to go down deep, to really expose and uncover what has been hidden. And, you know, Mercury is very willing to sort of receive that information and try to process it. But whatever it is transformational, it is empowering, and it is taking us to a different level. So understanding, and you know, Pluto is very much about our evolution as well, but we are definitely being called to let go of what we sort of thought we knew. Now, just sort of in that process of the trine with Pluto, Mercury will also be opposite Chiat in the Pegasus constellation, one of the fixed stars. So this again is about pulling us up into the higher mind, being able to see the bigger picture, sort of let go of the detail and that structure and order, and trying to make sense of everything, and start to see things from a much more multi-galactic perspective, you know, see the bigger vision, you know. And again, Pegasus wants us to really fly high, and there is speed here as well. So we are moving very, very quickly. Lots of sort of, you know, information and understanding and stories coming through, that because this is activating the outer planets, it's not necessarily about your personal world anymore, an individual, although that is relevant. It is about what is going on out there. So, you know, our news feeds might be very, very busy with lots of sort of things coming through all at once, and it's going to feel potentially quite overwhelming. But you know, Mercury hasn't finished, because after the trine with Pluto, the same day he's going to move into Libra. So this is a shift of energy. And Mercury in Libra is slightly more measured, more balanced, is able to see both sides, to kind of conceive or you know, accept that there might be another side to the story. Mercury in Libra is also very collaborative, so working with other people to share, to make sure that there is equality. And there is also sort of themes of peace and balance and harmony coming through. So again, you know, it is that there's definitely going to be a shift as Mercury comes into this sign. But, you know, again, not quite finished, because 2 days later, so that happens on Thursday, on Friday, moving really quickly, Mercury is going to conjoin with the Super Galactic Centre. So this is a point in Libra at 2 degrees of Libra, which is really sort of serving or acting as a black hole, but asking us to really stretch our minds, to go beyond the everyday to what we know, what we've been attached to really let go. The Super Galactic Centre is very transformative, but also transmutes energy. So again, anything that is not true or sort of rooted in integrity is going to be stripped away potentially with this conjunction. And again, it is really, you know, encouraging us to consider sort of information and understanding from a much higher, much more even galactic and cosmic point of view. And again, you know, with the Super Galactic Centre, there is this understanding of the cycles and the fact that things have to be removed, have to die in order for something new to come in, which again is very much what we're dealing with in this eclipse portal. So on Sunday, then, Mercury will meet with the South Node at 6 degrees of Libra. And I've talked about the themes of the South Node in my recent video. That's going to come up in the eclipse video as well. But again, this is sort of shining a light on or giving us insight and a new understanding of what it is we need to let go of in order so that we can move on and evolve and move forward. So in Libra, you know, this is relationships, this is agreements, this is situations where we are not sort of standing in our power, where we are perhaps codependent, where we have outgrown something. And again, you know, this information is going to be quite clear, very difficult to sort of avoid or miss, if you will. And then on Tuesday, the Sun and Mercury join together at 9 degrees of Libra, and this is a cazimi. So again, you know, the Sun is sort of empowering and lightening up the mind, our understanding, again, really shining a light on what it is that we've learnt. Following that, Mercury will then move on and meet with Black Moon Lilith. So this is about sort of our more shadow side being sort of, you know, understood, if you will. And then Mercury forms a really big part of the eclipse chart on the 2nd, as by this point he's got to 11 degrees of Libra, which is in itself significant, because 11 for me is sort of a number that represents channeling and having that direct information, that direct connection to sort of a higher source or another dimension. So there is a lot going on. Now in the background, you know, we have Venus now in Scorpio. So Venus, which represents sort of our talents, our gifts, our values, our self-worth, sort of what we love in life. And in Scorpio, again, you know, this is really inviting us to go down, to really consider the shadow, to look at what is hidden in order to be able to connect with and activate gifts, you know, and a sense of self-worth that perhaps was hidden and sort of kept out of reach from us or to us for some reason. But again, you know, we're starting to learn the value that we hold that, again, may be hidden in the shadow, and how sometimes we have to face the darker sides of ourselves to be able to get to that gold. It's also going to really give us an opportunity to connect with ourselves on a more sort of intimate level, and to explore intimacy and what that means, to explore exchange, power, and also, you know, it's going to help us be much more intuitive, much more sensitive. And ultimately, you know, this is Scorpio is very healing as well. But it is about understanding that often we have to let go of things and shed layers of ourselves to be able to get to the gold that, you know, again, may be hidden, but it is very, very valuable when we connect with it. So, you know, in all honesty, we've got this week where information is likely to be coming at us left, right and centre. You know, it's potentially quite shocking. It's certainly transformative, empowering if we can get our heads around what's going on and keep up with the speed. But, you know, this is really going to be affecting our mind. The information that we kind of, you know, have got a hold on, it's going to potentially affect our consciousness. You know, but it is ultimately about helping us to really push forward and to awaken to more of what we need to be able to access in order to grow. And of course, you know, as we move through Libra, you know, themes of justice, equality, peace, harmony, and there being two sides. And also with Libra, we sort of experience ourselves through other people and other situations. So again, there may be things that are sort of almost shining a light as a mirror on us again to help us grow, because that is what it is all about. Now, I just wanted to say that I'm starting to get very interested in human design, which is something that has kind of come out of left field in this eclipse corridor. So I'm absolutely, you know, paying attention, and it is something that is really lighting me up as having huge potential to sort of add to and enhance my work, my understanding of myself, and to help clients that I'm working with when I'm doing charts, because there's such beautiful synergy with astrology. And there's also going to be, you know, the opportunity to bring the fixed star archetypes and energies in as well. So sort of in the backdrop to this, obviously the human design, you know, is also linked to the gene keys. So we're working with the gate or the gene key 46, which is the essential or the science of embodiment. So again, although our minds are going to be very activated and we may feel overwhelmed, certainly Mercury and Virgo can get easily overwhelmed, and with Uranus quite strong as well, you know, there is going to be, you know, there's quite a nervousness, sort of a highly strung sense in the background. So again, try and keep grounded, and the way to do that is by connecting to the 46 gene key, the gate 46, which is about coming into the body and sort of letting go of seriousness, which kind of keeps us in the mind and keeps us sort of stuck in judgment and sort of, you know, an attachment to how we think things should be, and sort of coming into a more sort of connected state of being with the body, with fun, with the lightness of being, with spontaneity, with being carefree, serendipity, flow. All those words sort of come in to the higher expressions of this 46th gate. So, you know, again, with Venus and Scorpio, again, we're really being invited to explore the gift that we have, that is the body, and how the body is a vessel for the soul and for highest consciousness to be able to express itself and to kind of have form and to, you know, play a role in this whole sort of pattern of life that we find ourselves in. You know, there is a kind of sense of, although we may feel overwhelmed, we need to get out of our own way and just allow everything to flow. Don't get too attached, and just understand that this is part of the process and that it has to happen. And for many of us, you know, we may feel that we've been waiting for lots of information to come through. Now it's happening. It may feel a little bit scary, but again, just trust that this is the process, you know, and we have to move through these times to be able to get to the other side. And then later in the week, as of Thursday, we'll be moving into the 18th gene key, or gate 18, which is linked to wholeness and correction. So in the shadow side of this gate, we are really stepping away from judgment. And I really feel that with Mercury being so active, we're going to get lots of opportunities to practice how we do that. And of course, judgment is very much in the mind. It's quite difficult to judge something with the body, I would say. So again, you know, although there's lots of opportunities to be in the mind, the trick is to stay in the body as much as possible and to remain embodied in order to be able to handle the higher energies, the higher frequency and the speed that we are facing this week. So I hope you found that useful. If you do know about human design and you can point me in the direction of good resources or good courses or anything, please do share, because I kind of feel like I want to you know, access this information quite quickly so I can start to use it, because I can just see it has so much potential. I'm really excited about that. So please comment or feel free to email me if you would prefer. My email is in my about section, but it's hello@spiralbright.co.uk. You can try that one. And yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I'm Louise at Spiral Bright Insight. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back with my eclipse video very soon. Take care.